Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our webinar today. My name is Carrie Dupre. I'm with the Office of New Student Programs here at UMSL, and today we have a representative from Career Services who will be leading our Get Plugged In webinar session. We have Devin here today who will be sharing her expertise on this topic and providing you with some excellent information about working on campus. So before we get started, I'd like to present a little overview of some of the features that we have. You might see a little button that looks like a little guy with his hand raised. If you press that button, it gives us a notification that you have a question. And so you can then type that question into the chat box and we will get you an answer to that question. Also, please be aware that we are recording this session, and so it will be available on our website if you ever need to refer back to it. We're ready to launch, and I hope you enjoy the webinar. I look forward to seeing you again at the end with a few closing remarks.
Hi guys, my name is Devin and I'm from Career Services, and I'm going to be talking to you guys today about the wonderful opportunities on campus. We also have Miriam, who is the Assistant Dean of Students, if you can see her in the corner, who actually works with Campus Life Jobs, and so she's going to also be a part of the webinar today and answering any questions you guys might have. All right, and again, if you have questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to pose them in the chat box, okay? All right, let's get started. So working on campus is just like working at any other job, but you don't have to leave campus to work. Studies show that students who work on campus are more likely to persist in their studies. Next slide. Some advantages to working on campus is that you'll gain experience. While going to school, you'll gain valuable work experience that you can add to your resume. You'll build a network. Through your job, you'll get better acquainted with faculty and staff and other students. You'll also work with people who want to help you grow and people who truly care about your professional success. Third, you'll learn time management. You'll learn how to manage your academic and work experience in a safe environment that is also looking out for your best interests. And fourth, you'll build professional skills. While gaining experience, you'll also gain intentional career-related experience as you clarify your goals, acquire skills and self-confidence, and build a network of contacts. You'll also have flexibility, which will be able to arrange your work schedule around your class schedule, and your department will always know that school is your priority. And lastly, the best part, you'll get some moolah, which will help reduce your need for student loans, or you'll have the availability to spend your money on non-related school activities.
Devin, I just wanted to kind of chime in real quickly. So I have about 250 student employees within the units that we supervise within Campus Life, and as Devin talked about, I think what's so valuable for students in terms of working on campus is that you make a connection to folks who care about you, especially for those of you who are coming as first-year students for the first time. It helps provide you another resource, another link to the university. You know, you work at, I always use like Applebee's or JCPenney or places like that, and those could be fantastic supervisors. But at the end of the day for us, our goal in working with you as student employees is to get you to graduation and is to get you to be successful in an academic setting. And a supervisor at a JCPenney's and Applebee's, insert name of whatever that is, may just not be as supportive and as flexible with you as we're able to be here on campus, because our priority is getting you to graduation and to keeping you here as successful students.
Yeah, and Miriam's totally correct in that you will be building those networks, and then you also will be developing those skills, which will help you for your professional career after graduation as well. So third, a little bit of data on students who work on campus. Studies have shown that students who work no more than 20 hours per week tend to do better academically than students who do not work on campus. And like I mentioned previously, your department or your overseer really cares about you as a student and wants you to succeed, and so that is our main goal, that you are a student first.
Yeah, and that's something, again, for me, every semester we're running grade reports with our student employees. We do have some minimum requirements of students in order to maintain their employment, but we kind of have, I think, an unofficial competition a little bit where, you know, we're running kind of our average GPA scores for our student employees, which within my units tends to hover around a 3.1 or a 3.2 GPA, and I think a lot of that has to do with the connections you're making, the support that you get as well here on campus.
Great. So let's get down to accessing the actual jobs. When you are looking for a job on campus, all you need to do is go to careers.umsl.edu, and then you'll see on the right-hand tab, there's going to be a little yellow box that says on-campus jobs. Our on-campus jobs are as diverse as the personnel needs of the university, so you'll see lots of different job titles, clerical assistants, research jobs, photography jobs, data entry operators. So those are just a few examples of the jobs we have on campus. So students who begin the job search early will have a broader range of jobs to choose from. With this in mind, students should begin their job search as early as possible. The first steps, like we mentioned, is logging in, and then once you click the tab, you're going to get access to the 4 different core areas of campus employment. The first area is on-campus jobs. In order to apply for on-campus jobs, candidates must be a current student attending UMSL. A student does not need to be enrolled in a summer session to work on campus during the summer. The Federal Work-Study Program is another great option. It's designed to help undergraduate and graduate students who demonstrate financial need by providing meaningful employment that can help offset educational expenses. The Office of Student Financial Aid also assists qualifying students to find a part-time position on campus or even off campus at an approved community site, service site. Access to those positions is granted upon award and a completion of an orientation on campus during the summer. Campus Life Jobs is also a wonderful opportunity. Employs, like Miriam said, more than 250 students annually in more than 20 different student positions. Campus Life includes the following places: the Millennium Student Center, the J.C. Penney Conference Center, Student Involvement, New Student Programs, the Rec and Wellness Center, or even Residential Life and Housing. So if you are interested in working in Campus Life Job, make sure to apply because the hiring process does close June 30th and interviews begin July 10th through the 12th. So again, it closes June 30th, so start applying soon. Student Plus Jobs is our last other option. It is an internship program which is paid on campus, and it allows students to gain experiential learning through various university departments. You become more engaged with the campus community, and it enhances your knowledge, skills, and abilities. So there's lots of options out there for you. I'd also like to make note, if there is any changes into the employment page, directions will be clearly outlined on our website. So now when you're wanting to review a job posting, all you need to do is simply click on the position title to see the specifics of the posting. Each position will have different application instructions, so make sure to read through it. And also make sure to send the proper documents. So if the contact is asking for resumes or cover letters, make sure that you're sending the proper application papers. If you're unsure of how to apply or how to even get started with anything, such as a resume, you can always visit our office Career Services. We're in the Millennium Student Center, and you can stop by and we can help you with preparing for those documents to send.
And Devin, one of the things I wanted to kind of share, so for any of the positions in Campus Life, we do require a resume. And part of the reason for that is we know you, for some of you, you may not have even ever worked before. Mm-hmm. But we really see it as an opportunity to get you that first resume developed. And I don't want to tell you that we don't put any stock in it, but we're more looking for somebody who's put the time in to start themselves on that career exploration journey. And so we want to model what you're going to see in the real world. And in that real world scenario, you're going to need a resume, you're going to need a cover letter. So kind of consider that practice, good practice and good effort to put in when you're applying for an on-campus job as well.
And Miriam, do you want to talk about the one application as well too?
Yeah, sure. So on the Campus Life job side, we're not really different than any other job on campus. What we've done differently though is we have created one kind of universal application. So when you apply through that campuslifejobs.umsl.edu site, which you can also access through Career Services, as Devin has said, you can preference up to 4 different positions that you're interested in one application, and then you conduct one interview with 2 members from our team for all of those positions at the same time. So You don't have to do one interview per department. You can do one kind of universal interview as well. And then our team reviews all applicants. We look at your preferences, we look at our needs, we look at your scheduling tool that you'll submit, and from there we kind of draft out our team, kind of like you would imagine maybe the NFL draft or something like that looking like. But for us, we're looking to build a dynamic team of students who are reflective of the campus community, who are freshmen, who are seniors, who are everywhere in between. We hands down rely on student employees to operate our facilities. We have some offices that are 8 to 5, and so that availability, if you're not available 8 to 5, those wouldn't be a great fit for you. But other facilities like Residential Life, the Rec Center, and the Student Center, we're open till 10, 11. We're open 24 hours a day, and so we are always looking for students with flexible hours, especially those overnight and late night and early morning shifts, if those are of interest to you as well.
Yeah, and one thing Miriam pointed out is that there is different hours, and so in each application, or posting I mean, you will see the hours that match up best with maybe your academic schedule, so make sure to go over that. And again, the department itself is wanting to help you as a student first, and so if you're seeing that your hours don't match up perfectly, definitely come and see us. Don't not apply for the job because of that, because most of the time they are flexible and wanting to work with you too. So in closing, on-campus employment is a wonderful option for earning money, building your network, gaining valuable professional experience before graduation, even just starting off and learning new skills and techniques. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask any of us. Again, the contact information is on there, but you can stop by our office as well too. Career Services, we're kind of the portal for all of these different areas on campus, but you can definitely, oh, we have a hand raised up. Oh, make sure to type in your questions in the chat box. But again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us by phone number. Again, we're here to help you, and we're excited for you guys to be coming in fall.
Perfect. It looks like we have a question from Tyler. You mentioned a photography job. Where can I find that?
So we have had positions that would be under on-campus employment, and we have had those in the past. I don't know if there's one open right now, but we will have some in fall, I'm assuming. So you can access any of those on-campus jobs.
I think another just kind of follow-up I would make is for a lot of our new students, you're not necessarily sure yet if student employment is right for you. Maybe you want to get your feet wet on campus and kind of figure out what your time commitment looks like. There's not a finite, positions don't disappear after July 1st. In the cycle I talked about with Campus Life, we actually do 3 major hiring processes throughout the year. So if you don't think you're ready to start working in August, but you think you'll be ready to start in January, we run another process in October. If you don't think you're ready in all your first year, we run another process in March and April. And that's the same thing. As departments have needs, they post their position. And so if you don't see something right now that you're interested in, keep checking back on the Career Services website. There are just always a broad range of employment opportunities from entry level to kind of senior student leader positions and senior student employee positions as well. So
yeah, Mary makes a good point that I update it almost every day. So if you're not seeing that photography position in the gallery open today, it might be up there in a couple of weeks. So definitely keep checking in on those. We have a question. Do you have any jobs working? Oops.
Oh, lots of questions all at once.
Okay, we'll start from the beginning. Do you have any jobs working with kids? There are some jobs actually posted with the College of Education. Those are under on-campus jobs again too, so you can check those out depending on which age levels you want to work with. But there are some over there.
And if folks have if folks have previous experience being a camp counselor during the summer, we run camps for 6 through 12-year-olds out of our recreation center. So that's not a year-round position, but that's our summer camps. We're always looking for student camp counselors as well to work with that population.
Okay, so what is the difference between on-campus jobs and campus life jobs?
Great question. There's really not a difference. The only difference is that for the efficiency for my staff, we choose to hire collectively across 5 departments, and we choose to give you that the ease of doing that one universal application and that one interview. So as Devin had indicated, if you go onto our application and you go onto that campuslifejobs.umsl.edu, you'll see 20 different positions, 20 plus positions listed within the 5 departments that I supervise, as well as our partners with the food service operator on campus and our bookstore on campus. So you can apply for those all together and do one interview. On-campus jobs, you would have to contact and apply to each individual listing as you see it on the website that Devin had shown. So the example that was posted of the lifeguard is in the process that Campus Life Jobs had, so you could apply to that by itself, or you could apply with 10 other positions that you're interested in. Something like our child care center, since that was asked previously, you would have to apply directly to the child care center, and you might also have to apply to the photography position separately, and you would also have to apply to the biology department's front desk position separately, as each of those have different contacts.
Yeah, and the application postings, they're pretty, or the posting itself, they're pretty easy. It will say where to apply in the application instructions. So just read the posting really clearly. If you have questions, again, you can email me or call me. But they're pretty easy to navigate, I would say. So.
Okay. So how much do the jobs on campus pay?
So good question. Every department kind of sets their own pay scale. So some more that are entry level might be a little bit lower on the scale, but then there might be some other jobs which are graduate level or something like that, which might be a little bit higher. So each department, it varies. It does say on the job posting as well too how much it is going to be paying hourly. So.
Yep.
All right. I have another question about training that happens before move-in or the first couple of days of school. What is that process?
So the training is kind of specific to the position that if you were hired for. So there are some trainings where you show up the first day and you're kind of trained as you go by the department. There's some where the volume of student employees is so high. For example, our rec center does a 2-day training. I think the Wednesday and Thursday before classes begin, where we completely shut the rec center down for 2 days because we're training 125 people. So that would all be, it should be listed or would be communicated during the interview process. But it just kind of differs based on what those positions look like. If you are living on campus and you were needing to come in for a training kind of before the residence halls open, traditionally, you've been able to communicate that to Residential Life and Housing, and they have, when they can, are able to accommodate that an early move-in process if it is for campus employment training.
All right. How competitive is the application process?
So I don't do most of the hiring on campus for this part, but I can say that a lot of students are applying to each and every position. So again, like I stated in the webinar, make sure that you're applying early. There are tons of positions on campus, so you shouldn't have a problem finding a job on campus. Each application process is different depending on the department needs, how many jobs are available, and so it just depends, as we like to always say. But it can be competitive, so make sure that you're getting it in there. Make sure that you're matching up your skills, maybe your past skills or leadership skills in high school or any experience that you've had, volunteer work or something like that, with the job posting itself. And so if you need any help, again, with kind of building out a resume, if you just have never done one before, I can definitely help you out with that too.
I would just also comment as someone who does a ton of the hiring, take the application seriously. I think there are some departments, and our side is one of them, where we do ask a couple essay questions, and those truly are intended to be essay questions. So if you're giving us a sentence, or it looks like you flew through that application, we do take that as an indicator potentially of how you're going to do your job. And so I think as any employee or employer would, that application really is, and resume is your first opportunity to communicate to us who you are and what we think you are going to be working on, or what you will be like as an employee. So make sure that you spend some time putting into that for sure.
Definitely.
Okay. You said there were 3 major hiring periods. When would each of those be?
So let me kind of clarify real quickly. So within the 5 departments in campus life, we have chosen to kind of align into these 3 hiring periods. So we have the one we're in right now, which will close June 30th. We have a second one that usually runs in October. That October hiring is really intended to get employees ready for a January start. We do a third hiring process kind of April-ish, March, April. That would be for folks for summer employment and fall of 2018 employment, so for that next fall. But that does not mean that there are not other things that come up. And so I would really kind of continue to stress with you to look at that Career Services website to see the most updated positions available. Even those 20-some jobs that we do collectively, they're all listed individually on the Career Services site so that you can find them any way you come to us. We are always looking for good folks, so we list both places.
Yeah, and so with on-campus jobs and federal work study, they each have their own different time periods. If you are awarded federal work study, you should be getting those awards during summer, and you can actually start applying for those jobs right now. On-campus jobs is open to all students, so you don't need to have been awarded work study for those types of positions. And I get job postings every day, so those will be, sometimes it's heavy in fall, sometimes it's heavy in the beginning of spring, so you just have to be continuously checking in. And that's the same thing with Student Plus as well too. They have heavier times in fall and spring, but you just have to keep checking into the website.
All right, so Tyler, it looks like you've got a question about about work study. So you may have been awarded work study, but you haven't heard yet. And just how does that work, Devin? With if they are awarded work study, do they have to only take a work study job? Maybe that's a good clarification.
Good question. So if you are awarded federal work study, you don't need to just do a federal work study job. You can also do an on-campus job. There are a certain amount of hours though that you can work doing both of those jobs. With federal work study, you should be receiving some sort of email about it. If you are not receiving an email about your award, you definitely need to contact financial aid and ask about that, because they are doing orientations already for these jobs. Once you are awarded work study, you get a access code, and then you can actually access the jobs just for work study students. So if you are not awarded it, you cannot access the federal work study jobs.
Does that make sense? So if you have work study, you can apply for anything. If you don't have work study, you can't apply for work study jobs.
Correct.
That's essentially kind of what it's looking for. So,
how many hours a week can I work while going to classes?
Yeah, so Devin talked a little bit about on campus, you would not be able to work more than an average of 28 hours a week.
Correct.
What I will say as a supervisor of a lot of student employees is we would encourage you, and we understand that folks have different situations, but we really feel like the sweet spot is 20 hours. I think it's difficult sometimes for folks, especially if this is your first year on campus. I would encourage you to stay around 20 hours at a maximum. Not that you may not have a couple weeks that adjust, and that's fine. But we're really pushing you, as you know, on the academic side to be looking at 15 credit hours a semester. And so 15 credit hours in class plus what you're spending out of class plus more than 20 hours of work, and you're running out of hours in your week. So that would be our recommendation.
And with those 28 hours, if you do have 2 jobs, you split it up. So you can't do 28 hours per job. You'd have to do 20 hours in one job, or 8 hours in another, or 15 and 15, just so you know.
All right. If you apply during the October period, when would you start working?
For most of that October period for us, you would start working in January. There are a couple positions, student leadership positions, and for those of you who have attended orientation, this is a good example for you. We hire our orientation leaders during that kind of October process, but you would spend the spring semester really training, and you wouldn't really start that position until the summer. So most of them, it's immediate. Most of it is, we hire, you kind of get your final decision during that fall semester to start in the spring semester.
Okay. So are students who have never had a job before at any kind of disadvantage in terms of looking for a job on campus?
I would say definitely not. In regards to building out like a resume or something like that, or selling yourself, we can always go, what are your strengths, and look over that, and that's the kind of information you can put on a resume if you don't have experience. And we can help build that out basically. But no, you're not at a disadvantage, because this is, again, a learning experience, and that's what you're hoping to get by working on campus. So.
Yeah, I think for us, we're looking, Devin talked a lot about just our obligation and our dedication to helping students learn and grow in their student employment with us. And so, I would hope, for example, that maybe you had some co-curriculars in your high school experience, or that maybe it's not student employment, but it's group work, or it's, a community organization that you volunteered with, or something like that. Those would be the types of things we would want to see. And as Devin alluded to, in terms of the strengths piece, I would hope, for example, that you're talking about, I worked as a volunteer with a team of other people, and so the strength I have from that is being able to work with a group, being able to work through, people who have different opinions than I do, things like that. That's what, even if you haven't had a previous job, talk about what you have had and how that translates to employment.
Is there somewhere that students could go if they wanted help with their resume?
Yeah, so that would be Career Services. And again, we're in the MSC with all these other departments that are student resources. We're actually located in 278, so you guys can do walk-in hours. We have them from 11 to 1, Monday through Thursday. You can just drop by, and we can help you out with building out your resume or any application tools that you need to apply for.
And they could also call in advance and make an appointment.
And you can also call in advance and make an appointment. We have a career counselor that's also assigned to you too.
Okay. What is the work study program?
So the work study program is done through financial aid. And so what it is students are awarded basically financial aid to support them during their academic process. And so if you do have to apply for that before school starts, and then you should be receiving a confirmation about that through your email.
Would previous entry-level positions at supermarkets, restaurants, etc. help the application process at all?
Absolutely. And again, as I talked about before, if you're listing that as on your resume and part of your work experience, I would encourage you to also be able to articulate either in the interview or cover letter or on the resume what you got out of that, right? So working with customers. I'm going to give you an example. So supermarkets and restaurants, let's use that as an example. To me, that's a great person to potentially look at guest relations in our rec center, because if you're successful in a restaurant setting or you're successful in a grocery store setting, working with the public and working maybe with difficult customers or difficult situations, that if you are able to talk to us about that, here's how I handled this situation that came about with a difficult customer, those absolutely translate to some of our front-facing student employment opportunities here on campus.
All right. Could someone correspond with someone in career services via email to work on resume building if they can't come in person?
Definitely. So my contact information is up there. Again, my name is Devin, and you can call me, you can send me an email. My information is also on the website as well too. It's seltzdm@umsl.edu. And so you can send me your resume, I can review it for you and then send it right back to you. So we can definitely do that if you can't make it onto campus.
And I did want to comment on that. I know we had mentioned on the Campus Life job side of things that we were conducting interviews July 10th through the 12th. If you did apply and you were offered an interview, I would want to clarify for you that if you're off-site or you're not local to St. Louis, that we're able to conduct those interviews over Skype or Google Hangouts. So we don't, please don't, if you're, webinaring in from Chicago, think that you need to drive down here to
Yeah.
do a 30-minute interview. That is not a good use of your time. So we try to make it as accessible as possible, everybody, over the summer when we know you're not maybe on campus or around. So
Definitely.
any other questions folks have? Anything we didn't cover that you thought we were going to?
All right, well, do you ladies have any final reminders, words of good luck for people as they search for work on campus?
Yeah, just come visit us, talk to us as early as you can. I mean, again, I know we've said it enough, but we're here to help you out. We're excited that you're coming in fall, and we just want to help you build your professional development while you're here, get you excited and start networking within campus and getting to know people, because I mean that will help you in the long run. So again, we're excited and we look forward to seeing you.
Yep. Good luck.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. Hopefully it was really helpful. On behalf of New Student Programs, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. I hope this has been very helpful and that you have gained knowledge from our presenters. Like I said at the beginning, this webinar has been recorded, so if you ever want to refer back to it, it will be available on our website. Really quickly, I'd like to highlight some of the webinars that we're going to be having later on this summer. Our next one is actually July 7th, and that's going to be Fraternity and Sorority Life Breakdown at 3 p.m. Central Time. And then another one after that is July 20th, which is Get a Student Life, which is talking about involvement opportunities on campus. That one's also going to be at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then our final webinar will be July 24th, and that'll be Move-In, Arrival, and Survival at 1 p.m. So I really hope that you guys can join us for those webinars as well. Thank you again so much for joining us today, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Go Tritons.